Welcome to my travel safety series. Every country and region has its own unique tricks and traps that can catch unsuspecting travelers off guard. In this series, we will reveal the secrets of safe and conscious tourism. Today we are focusing on Poland, a beautiful country full of history and charm. But just like anywhere else, it's important to be aware of the scams and frauds that can happen even in the most picturesque places. In our first story, we meet Kasia. Our student from Gdynia loves spending time by the sea, walks along the beach, and visits cafes overlooking the Baltic. But recently, her favorite spot has become the object of scams. It all started when Kasia noticed that every time she sat down at one of the waterfront cafes, she was approached by someone trying to sell her something, usually some kind of trinket. It was annoying, but she thought it was part of the city's hustle and bustle. However, she soon noticed that the number of such vendors has increased dramatically. They were persistent, sometimes even aggressive, and clearly not willing to take no for an answer. When Cash asked why there were so many of them, a waitress in one of the cafes said that it was because of a new law that allowed everyone to sell things on the beach. Apparently, it was supposed to reduce the number of scammers and pickpockets because vendors have to show their faces and be registered. But instead, it's created a new problem. These new vendors are scamming tourists by selling them fake amber jewelry. Of course, Kasia couldn't believe it. Amber is one of Poland's national treasures. How could someone sell fake amber in the main amber market? Disappointed, she decided to investigate. Kasia learned that these new vendors had set up small stalls right on the beach, right in front of the cafes. They attracted tourists with promises of unique hand-carved amber jewelry and very low prices. It was almost impossible to say no to such an offer, and the stall owners knew it very well. Kasia discovered that the tourists who bought the jewelry were often unaware that what they had purchased was actually glass or plastic, painted to look like amber. Kasia decided to confront one of the stall owners, and when she asked him why he was selling fake amber, he just shrugged and said that everyone else was doing it too. He claimed that the real amber is very expensive and no one wants to buy it anymore. So everyone sells fake amber now. Kasia was shocked. All those people who had come to the seaside city to buy genuine Polish amber were being tricked. The sad thing was that these vendors knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't care about their reputation or long-term success. They just wanted to make a quick buck off unsuspecting tourists. Kasia decided to warn others about these scammers. She wrote posts on social media, warning people about buying amber from street vendors. She also contacted the local authorities to find out if they knew about this problem and what they were going to do about it. Kasia wasn't sure if anything would change, but she felt that she had to try. The second story features Lukasz, a regular guy from Wrocław who enjoys hiking and spending time in nature. One weekend, he and his friends decided to go on a trip to the mountains. As they were packing their things, they heard a report on the radio about several missing tourists in the Tatra Mountains. The guide and rescuers said that in recent weeks, more and more people have been getting lost in the mountains, probably because of the new law that allows everyone to enter protected areas. Lucas thought it was a good idea to remind everyone to be careful in the mountains and to always tell someone where they were going before they set off. But as it often happens, life went on, and the promise to remember to be careful was quickly forgotten. When Lucas and his friends arrived at the trailhead, they saw a large group of tourists and several cars parked nearby. That wasn't a good sign. Usually there aren't many people on this trail, especially in the middle of the week. They continued on their way, hoping that everything would be fine. However, after a while they realized that they hadn't seen another couple of hikers for a long time. Plus, it was starting to get dark. Suddenly, Lucas remembered the radio report and he started to panic. Was he in danger? What if he and his friends got lost in the mountains? Just then, they saw a couple of people in the distance. They waved to them, hoping for help. The strangers approached them, and when they were close enough, Lucas finally saw who they were. These were the same people who had been standing at the trailhead. They were smiling and friendly, and they told Lucas and his friends that they were also heading to the parking lot. Lucas decided to follow them. It seemed safer than continuing on their own in the dark. After a while, the group reached a fork in the path. One path led to the parking lot, but the other one was leading into the forest. The stranger suggested that they take the longer but safer path to the parking lot. Lucas thought it was a great idea. Who knows better than a local resident? His friends agreed, and they all started walking together. Suddenly, one of the strangers proposed that they should take a shortcut through the forest. The path was shorter, and they could reach the car park much faster. Most importantly, the stranger insisted that they wouldn't get lost. Lucas felt uneasy, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that something was wrong. He looked back and saw that his friends were already far ahead of him. Lucas started to worry. What if this person wanted to rob him, or maybe lead him to a dangerous place? At that moment, Lucas realized that he needed to be more careful and attentive. Even though he and his friends weren't in any visible danger, he knew that they had made a mistake by trusting strangers. He hoped that everything would work out, but he also knew that he needed to be more careful in the future. And that concludes our journey through the world of travel tips. We've explored two fascinating stories that took us from the bustling streets of the seaside city to the majestic peaks of the mountains. Each adventure has taught us valuable lessons about staying vigilant and cautious when traveling. Remember, no matter how beautiful and enchanting a place may be, it's essential to be aware of your surroundings and protect yourself from potential dangers. Trust me, it's a skill that will serve you well throughout your travels. Keep an eye out for suspicious activities, don't hesitate to ask for help when needed, and always prioritize your own safety and well-being. Also, never forget to research the places you're visiting beforehand. Learn about the local customs, traditions, and potential scams to be aware of. Knowledge is power, and it will help you navigate through any challenges that may arise during your journey. So keep learning, stay curious, and embrace the adventure. But always remember to be cautious and protect yourself. Stay safe and happy travels.